I promise to pay you double next week. Humble girl begs rich man for food for her brother. Michael Thompson adjusted his tie as he walked through the chilly aisles of the supermarket, thinking only about the important meeting he had in an hour. His company was going through an expansion phase and every minute was precious. That's when he heard a child's voice that made him stop in the middle of the dairy aisle. "Please, sir, I promise I'll pay you double next week," said a small girl, holding a baby firmly in her arms. Michael turned and saw a child who couldn't have been more than 7 years old, with slightly messy brown hair and big eyes that shone with impressive determination for someone so young. The baby in her arms, apparently her brother, was whimpering softly. "I just need a carton of milk and some bread. My little brother is hungry, and we have nothing at home," the girl continued, looking directly into the businessman's eyes. Michael was surprised by the maturity in the child's voice. She wasn't begging for charity, she was proposing a deal. "How are you going to pay me double, little one?" he asked, more out of curiosity than disbelief. The girl opened a worn-out backpack she carried and pulled out a small notebook with yellowed pages. "I write everything down here. Every dollar someone lends me. And I always pay it back, sir. My mom taught me that a promise is a promise." The baby's cries grew louder, and the girl began rocking him gently, humming a soft tune. Michael watched the scene, impressed. He had never seen a child so young with such responsibility on her shoulders. "What's your name?" he asked. "Lily, sir. And this is Tommy, my little brother." Michael pulled a $50 bill from his pocket and handed it to her. "Take what you need and keep the change." To his surprise, Lily shook her head. "I can't take money, sir. My mom always said we're not beggars. I just want you to buy the milk and bread, and I'll pay you back later." The firmness in the girl's voice left Michael even more impressed. He was about to respond when he heard footsteps approaching. "Hey, you two!" shouted a woman in a green uniform, clearly the store manager. "I've told you before you can't stay here bothering customers." Mrs. Jenkins, the manager, walked toward them with an irritated expression. Michael noticed how Lily instinctively shielded her brother in her arms. "They weren't bothering anyone," Michael said, stepping between the manager and the children. "Sir, I understand your kindness, but these kids show up here almost every day. I can't have them disturbing our customers," Mrs. Jenkins explained, softening her tone slightly when she noticed she was speaking to a well-dressed man. "Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing, Lily looked at the ground, clearly embarrassed, but didn't let go of her brother. The baby kept crying and she whispered comforting words in his ear. "It's okay, Mrs. Jenkins," Lily said quietly. "We were just leaving anyway." But Michael didn't move. "Actually, I was helping the girl with her shopping," he said firmly, looking at the manager. "Let's get what she needs." Mrs. Jenkins hesitated for a moment, but finally sighed and nodded. "Fine, but make it quick." Michael guided Lily to the dairy section. She picked the cheapest milk available and then went to the bakery, choosing just 2 loaves of French bread. "Just this?" Michael asked. "It's enough for today, sir. I don't want to owe too much." At the checkout, Michael paid for the items and handed the bag to Lily. She immediately opened the little notebook and wrote something with a small, worn-down pencil. "Michael Thompson, $15.60. I'll pay $31.20 next week," she said, showing him the note. Michael was surprised she knew his name, until he realized he'd used his credit card and she'd probably read it on the display. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. You're a good person." Lily left the supermarket holding the bag and her brother, and Michael stood still for a few minutes, thinking about the situation. There was something in that girl's determination that deeply moved him. When he got to the office, Michael tried to focus on the meeting, but his mind kept drifting back to Lily and little Tommy. Throughout the presentation of the company's new projects, he caught himself thinking about the responsibility such a young child carried. That night, in his home in the upscale neighborhood of New York City, Michael couldn't eat properly. His daughters, Amanda and Jennifer, teenagers aged 15 and 17, complained about the food the housekeeper had prepared, saying they wanted to order pizza. So you have no idea how lucky you are, Michael murmured, more to himself than to them. What's wrong, Dad? Asked Amanda. Nothing, sweetheart. Eat what's on the table. The next morning, Michael woke up earlier than usual. Even though he had a busy schedule, he decided to stop by the supermarket before heading to the office. Part of him hoped to see Lily again, while another part wished she wouldn't be there, meaning her situation had improved. But she was there. This time, Lily was in the hygiene aisle, holding a diaper and talking to a supermarket employee. "Miss, can I trade my shoes for a diaper?" the girl asked, pointing to her feet. Michael looked down and saw she was wearing old sneakers, but they still seemed in decent condition. The employee, a gray-haired woman, looked uncomfortable. "Sweetheart, I can't do that. It's not allowed. But my baby brother needs clean diapers. These shoes could still fit someone," Lily insisted. The employee, whose name tag read Mrs. Williams, glanced around and noticed Michael approaching. "Sir, the girl wants to trade her shoes for diapers. I don't know what to do." Michael felt his heart tighten. He crouched down to Lily's height. "Hi, Lily. Remember me?" The girl's eyes lit up. "Mr. Thompson, did you come to buy more things?" "Actually, I came to check on you. Where's Tommy?" "He's with the neighbor. She watches him sometimes when I need to go out." Michael noticed Lily avoided mentioning her mother's whereabouts. "And your mom, couldn't she come today?" Lily looked at the floor and took a while to answer. She's working. Works a lot." Mrs. Williams leaned closer to Michael and whispered in his ear, "Sir, this girl has been coming here for weeks, always with the baby, trying to get food. Once I asked about her mother, and she said she works 3 different jobs. But..." Mrs. Williams hesitated. "But what?" Michael asked quietly. "But I never see any adult with her, and look at the child's clothes. They're clean, but it's always the same outfit." Michael took a closer look at Lily. Indeed, she was wearing the same beige blouse as yesterday, and her clothes, though clean, seemed to be the only ones she owned. "Lily, how about I walk you home today? I'd like to meet your mom and thank her for raising such a polite daughter." Lily's face changed immediately. She looked nervous. "That's okay, Mr. Thompson. My mom she's sleeping now. She works nights." Again, Michael sensed hesitation in her answer. "All right, but how about I pay for these diapers for you? No strings attached. A gift." "I can't accept gifts, sir. My mother taught me that we should earn things." Lily's determination was admirable, but also concerning. Michael decided to try a different approach. "What if I hired you for a job? You could draw some pictures for me, and I'd pay you with diapers and a few other things Tommy needs." Lily's eyes lit up. "I draw really well. My mother always says my drawings are the prettiest she's ever seen." "Great. Then we have a deal." Michael picked up a pack of diapers, some milk, jars of baby food, and other basic baby items. At the checkout, Lily opened her little notebook. "Mr. Michael, how much is my drawing work worth?" "How much do you think it's worth?" Lily thought for a moment, counting on her fingers. $5? Michael almost smiled. The total for the groceries had been over $80. "I think your work is worth more. How about $50? $50? The little girl's eyes widened. "Then I'll draw the most beautiful pictures in the world for you." When they left the supermarket, Michael offered Lily a ride, but she politely refused, saying she lived nearby. But he decided to follow her discreetly, keeping his distance. Lily walked several blocks, carefully carrying the bags. Michael was surprised when she stopped in front of an old building in a very modest neighborhood in the East Bronx. The building clearly needed repairs, with peeling walls and some broken windows. She went up to the 3rd floor and entered an apartment. Michael waited a few minutes before climbing the stairs, hearing voices through the door. "Thanks, Mrs. Thompson. Was little Tommy good?" Lily's voice asked. "Yes, dear, but he cried a lot from hunger. Did you get the milk?" "I did, and even clean diapers. A very kind man hired me to draw pictures for him." Michael heard footsteps and quickly moved away, going back down the stairs. His mind raced with questions. Why was a 7-year-old girl taking care of a baby all alone? Where was their mother, really? The next day, a Friday, Michael cancelled his early meetings and returned to the supermarket. Lily was there again, this time holding Tommy. The baby seemed calmer, probably because he had eaten better the day before. "Mr. Michael," Lily waved when she saw him. "I brought the drawings." She opened her backpack and pulled out some folded sheets of paper. They were colorful drawings made with crayons, showing a happy family, a woman, a little girl, and a baby. "They're beautiful, Lily. You're very talented." "Thank you. My mother always says I got her artistic side." Michael studied the drawing more closely. The woman in the picture had long hair and a gentle smile. There was something familiar about her, but he couldn't place it. "Lily, can I ask you something? How long have you been taking care of Tommy by yourself?" The girl hesitated again, and Michael noticed she was always very careful with her answers. "I don't do it alone. My mother always takes care of us. It's just, sometimes she has to work extra hours to get money for the things we need." "And how long has she been working those extra hours?" "A few weeks," Lily answered, but her voice sounded less sure. Tommy started crying, and Lily immediately began rocking him and humming. Michael watched how careful and loving she was with her brother. It was clear she had been looking after him longer than just a few weeks. "Lily, have you ever thought about asking someone for help? A relative or—" "We don't have other relatives, Mr. Michael. It's just me, Tommy, and Mommy. But it's okay. I know how to take care of him right. My mother taught me everything." Just then, Mrs. Williams approached them. "Sir, may I speak with you privately?" Michael followed the employee to a more secluded corner of the supermarket. "Sir, I didn't want to interfere, but I'm worried about those children. Yesterday, after you left, I talked a bit more with the girl. She said her mother works nights cleaning offices, mornings at a diner, and afternoons caring for the elderly. 3 jobs. That's too much for anyone." "Exactly. But what worries me is if she's working all those hours, when does she spend time with the kids? And another thing, sir, I've worked at many places around here. I know almost all the cleaning companies, diners, and nursing homes. I tried to discreetly ask about a woman working in all 3 types of places, but no one knows anyone who fits that description." Michael felt a chill in his stomach. "What are you suggesting?" "I don't want to jump to conclusions, sir, but I think that girl might be hiding something about her mother's situation. Maybe she's in deeper trouble than we realize." When Michael returned to Lily, she was teaching Tommy how to clap. The baby laughed, and for the first time, Michael saw a genuine smile on the girl's face. "Lily, I have a proposal for you." "What is it, Mr. Thompson?" "How about you and Tommy come over for dinner at my place tonight? My daughters would love to meet you, and I'd like my wife to see your drawings." Lily's smile vanished immediately. "I can't, sir. I need to be home when my mom gets back from work." "What time does she usually get home?" "It depends. Sometimes earlier, sometimes later. But I always wait for her." Michael sensed he was getting close to something important. "And yesterday, what time did she get home?" Lily looked at the floor and didn't answer right away. She came home late, really late. I was already asleep." "Did you talk this morning?" "She left early for work. But she left a note saying she loves me very much." Michael noticed Lily was avoiding eye contact. "Can I see that note?" I left it at home." With each question, Lily seemed more uncomfortable. Michael decided to change tactics. "How about I give you both a ride home? I can wait for your mom and talk to her in person." "No." Lily's reply was so quick and loud it startled Tommy, who started crying. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, back to the story. Michael realized he'd touched a nerve. Lily was clearly hiding something important about her mother. He crouched to her level and spoke softly. "Lily, I just want to help you. If there's any trouble, maybe I can lend a hand." Tears welled up in the girl's eyes. "There's no trouble, Mr. Thompson. Everything's fine. Mom's just really busy working to give us nice things." But her voice trembled, and Michael could see she was struggling to keep her composure. "All right, I won't push. But I want you to know you can count on me if you need anything. Anything at all." Lily nodded and quickly left the supermarket, carrying Tommy and the few things Michael had bought for them. That night, Michael couldn't focus on anything. During dinner with his family, he told them about Lily and Tommy. "Dad, why don't you call child services?" Amanda suggested. "I don't want to rush things. If her mom really is just working a lot, I don't want to cause trouble for the family." "But if she's not," Jennifer began. "Exactly. It's a delicate situation." Catherine, Michael's wife, who had stayed quiet until then, finally spoke. "Michael, you said the girl draws very well and that her mother supposedly works in cleaning, diners and elderly care." "Yes." "Don't you think that combination of jobs is strange? It's very specific." "What are you getting at?" "Well, if someone were to make up a story about jobs that explain constant absence, those would be logical choices. They're night shifts, weekend work, irregular hours. It's almost the perfect excuse." Michael stopped eating. Catherine was right. Lily's explanation about her mother's jobs was too convenient. "And another thing," Catherine continued. "You said she's very artistic and that the baby calls her Lily, not Mommy." "No, wait, I don't think he talks yet. He's very little." "Michael, how old are babies when they start saying Mommy?" Michael thought for a moment. His own daughters had started saying that word between 8 and 10 months old. "Tommy seems about that age." "And he's never said Mommy around you?" Michael tried to remember. "No, Tommy always cried or babbled, but he'd never said a specific word." "Maybe he's delayed with talking? Or maybe he doesn't see his mother often enough to associate the word with someone," Catherine said gently. That night, Michael stayed up late, thinking about the possibilities. What if Lily's mother wasn't just working too much? What if something had happened to her? What if Lily had been taking care of her brother alone for weeks or even months? On Saturday morning, Michael woke up determined to find out the truth. He arrived at the supermarket early, hoping to find Lily, but she never showed. He stayed there for 2 hours walking the aisles but saw no sign of her. Worried, he decided to go to the building where she lived. He went up to the 3rd floor and knocked on the apartment door where he'd seen Lily enter. An elderly woman answered. "Hi, I'm Michael. I met Lily at the supermarket and wanted to see if she's okay. I didn't see her today." The woman, who must have been Mrs. Thompson, looked at him suspiciously. "Who's asking?" "I've been helping her with some groceries. She told me she draws very well, and I wanted to commission some work from her." Mrs. Thompson relaxed a little. "Oh yes, she mentioned a man who gave her work. Come in, please." The apartment was small with just 2 rooms. Michael could clearly see it was the space where Lily and Tommy lived. There were clean baby clothes hanging on a makeshift clothesline and some of Lily's drawings taped to the wall. "Mrs. Thompson, can I ask how long you've known Lily?" "Oh, it's been about 2 months since she moved here with her little brother. Hard-working girl, you know, always taking good care of the baby." "And their mother? Do you know her?" Mrs. Thompson hesitated. "Well, the girl always talks about her mother, right? Says she works a lot, but—" She paused and looked around, as if checking if anyone was listening. "But what, Mrs. Thompson?" "Sir, I don't want to speak ill of anyone, but I've never seen this mother. Not once, and I'm home almost all day. If she left for work or came back, I'd see her." Michael felt his heart race. "And you've never asked Lily about it?" "I did. Once I asked if I could speak to her mother because I wanted to offer help. The girl got nervous and said her mother was sleeping, that she worked overnight. But sir, I never hear any noise in that apartment except when Lily is playing with the baby." "Mrs. Thompson, where are they now?" "Lily left early today. Said she was going to try to get medicine for Tommy. The baby had a fever last night." Michael felt a pang of worry. "Medicine? Does she have money to buy medicine?" "She said she was going to try to trade some drawings for medicine at the pharmacy." "Poor thing, I don't think she even knows pharmacies don't work that way." Michael thanked Mrs. Thompson and ran off. There were 3 pharmacies in the neighborhood, and he needed to find Lily. At the 2nd pharmacy, he found her. Lily was at the counter with Tommy in her arms, who did look feverish, trying to negotiate with the pharmacist. "Miss, I made these drawings just for you. My little brother is sick and needs fever medicine." The pharmacist, a middle-aged woman, seemed genuinely moved but explained she couldn't accept drawings as payment. "Sweetheart, I'd love to help, but it's against the rules." Do you have a guardian who can come here? My mom's at work, but I take care of Tommy. I know what medicine he needs. Michael approached. Lily. She turned and he could see tears in her eyes. Mr. Michael, I'm so glad you're here. Tommy's sick and I don't know what else to do. Michael took the baby in his arms. Tommy did have a fever, but it didn't seem too serious. What medicine do you think he needs? Baby fever medicine. My mum always gave it to him when he got like this. Michael asked the pharmacist for an appropriate infant fever reducer for Tommy's age. He paid for the medicine and also bought some other basic baby care items. Lily, Tommy needs to see a doctor. Do you have health insurance? I don't know. My mom handles that stuff. Where's his vaccination card? Lily looked confused. Vaccination card? Michael realized he was facing a more serious situation than he'd thought. A 7-year-old clearly didn't know how to properly care for a sick baby, no matter how responsible she was. Lily, we need to take Tommy to the community health center. He might need to see a doctor. But what if they ask about my mum? We'll explain she's at work and you're taking care of him for now. At the community health center, Michael stayed with Lily and Tommy. The receptionist asked for the baby's documents, and Lily opened her backpack, pulling out a carefully organized plastic folder. Inside were Tommy's birth certificate, his vaccination card, which was up to date, and a few other papers. Michael was impressed by Lily's organization. She really was handling everything on her own and doing it well. During the checkup, the doctor confirmed it was just a mild fever, likely from teething. He praised the care the baby was getting and said he was well nourished and healthy. The baby's mother takes very good care of him, the doctor remarked to Michael. Actually, doctor, it's mostly his big sister who's been looking after him. The doctor looked at Lily in surprise. Really? How old are you, sweetheart? 7, doctor. 7. The doctor looked concerned. And where are your parents? Lily glanced at Michael, clearly nervous. My mom's at work. The doctor turned to Michael. Sir, are you related to them? Michael realized he was in a delicate situation. He didn't want to lie, but he also didn't want to cause trouble for Lily. I'm a family friend. I'm helping out while her mom's at work. I see. Well, the baby's fine, but a 7-year-old shouldn't be the primary caregiver for an infant. That's too much for her. When they left the community health center, Lily was visibly shaken. Mr. Michael, did I do something wrong? The doctor seemed mad at me. No, Lily, you didn't do anything wrong. You take great care of Tommy. The doctor's just worried because you're too young for so much responsibility. But I promised my mum I'd take good care of him. The way she said it made Michael stop walking. Lily, when did you make this promise to your mother? Once again, she hesitated. When she had to start working more. And when was that? A few weeks ago. Michael decided to be more direct. Lily, I want you to be very honest with me. When was the last time you actually saw your mother? Tears began rolling down the girl's face. I see her. She leaves little notes for me. But when was the last time you talked to her in person? Lily started crying harder, and Tommy, as if feeling his sister's sadness, began crying too. I can't talk about this, Mr. Thompson. I promised. Promised who? My mum. She said if I told anyone they might separate me and Tommy. Michael felt his heart tighten. He crouched down and gently hugged Lily. Lily, no one is going to separate you from Tommy, I promise. But if you tell me the truth, maybe I can help you both in a better way. Between sobs, Lily finally began to speak. My mum, she had to go away. She said it was for a very important job and that it would only last a few weeks. She taught me how to take care of Tommy and said I was a very responsible girl. But it's been over a month now and she hasn't come back. Michael felt as if he'd been punched in the gut. A month? Lily, did she leave any way to contact her, a phone number? She said the place she went doesn't have a phone, but that she'd send news through a friend. And she does. She leaves little notes saying she's okay and that she loves me. Can I see those notes? Lily nodded and pulled a few small pieces of paper from her backpack. They were simple, handwritten notes with messages like, Mommy loves you so much, and take good care of Tommy. Michael examined the notes more closely. The handwriting was the same in all of them, and there was something familiar about it. But what bothered him most was realizing the papers looked old, as if they'd been written a long time ago. "Lily, do you recognize the person who brings these notes?" "I never see who leaves them. They just appear under the door at night." "And how have you been living all this time? Where's the money coming from?" "My mom left some money saved up, but it's almost gone. That's why I try to get food by trading drawings or borrowing." Michael realized he was facing a much more complex and troubling situation than he'd imagined. A mother doesn't just disappear for a month, leaving two small children alone. Something had happened. "Lily, do you remember your mother's full name?" "Of course, Karen Williams." The name echoed in Michael's mind. Karen Williams. There was something very familiar about it. Where had he heard it before? "And what was her job before she started those 3 jobs you mentioned?" "She worked in a big office. She always said she had a very important boss. But one day there was a problem, and she lost her job." Michael's heart began to race. "Lily, do you remember the name of that company?" "I don't remember the name exactly, but she always talked about Mr. Thompson, her boss." Michael felt the world spinning around him. It couldn't be a coincidence. There was only one Mr. Thompson. Karen Williams knew who was the boss of a big company, himself. "Lily," his voice trembled, "your mother, did she ever show you pictures of us?" "Yes, she had a photo of us on her desk at work. She always said you were a good person, but that sometimes good people make mistakes." Michael's legs felt weak. Karen Williams. Now he remembered perfectly. She had been his secretary 5 years ago. A dedicated woman, always efficient, who had been fired for a serious mistake in closing an important contract, a mistake that cost the company thousands of dollars. A mistake that ruined her career, a mistake that Michael now began to suspect she might not have even made. "Lily, I need to make some calls. Can you stay here with me for a few hours?" "Okay, Mr. Thompson, but later I need to go back home in case my mum comes back." Michael picked up his phone and started making calls to his company. He urgently needed to review Karen Williams' case. Meanwhile, Lily took care of Tommy, who had improved with the medicine. After a few calls, Michael managed to reach Catherine, his current secretary. "Catherine, I need you to look through the files for a case from 5 years ago. An employee named Karen Williams, fired for a contract error. Mr. Thompson, that's going to take a while. The files from 5 years ago are in storage. It's urgent, Catherine, very urgent. I want all the documents related to her case on my desk first thing tomorrow." "All right, sir. May I ask why the urgency?" Michael looked at Lily, who was playing with Tommy, trying to make him laugh. "I think I may have made a terrible mistake 5 years ago, and that mistake is destroying people's lives." Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. That night, Michael took Lily and Tommy to his house. At first, Lily resisted, saying she needed to be home in case her mother returned. But when Michael explained she could call the landline to check for updates, she agreed. Catherine, Michael's wife, was moved when she met the children. She prepared a warm bath for Tommy and a comfortable room for Lily. While the children rested, Michael told Catherine the whole story. "Michael, do you think Karen might have been fired unfairly?" "I'm starting to think so. I remember at the time she tried to explain she hadn't made the mistake, but the evidence seemed clear. Now, looking back, maybe I should have investigated further. And if she really was fired unfairly, where could she be now?" "That's my biggest worry, Catherine. Lily says she left for a job, but a responsible mother doesn't leave 2 young children alone for over a month." The next morning, Sunday, Michael was at the company even before Catherine arrived. He'd used his access key to get in and was eager to review Karen's case files. When Catherine brought the documents, Michael dove into them immediately. He reviewed contracts, emails, reports, all the evidence that had led to Karen's dismissal. After 2 hours of analysis, Michael found something that made his blood run cold. There was an email he didn't remember seeing 5 years ago. It was from Robert Wilson, his current vice president, sent the day before the mistake happened. The email read, Karen, as we discussed, changed the amount on the Oil Corp contract. The correct amount is $890,000, not $980,000 as it appears in the draft. Do this by tomorrow morning. Robert. But something was off. According to records, Karen had changed the amount to $880,000, not $890,000, and that $10,000 error had resulted in hundreds of thousands in losses when discovered months later. Michael checked the email history. Robert's email was there, but it had been edited. The original version said $890,000, but it had been changed to $880,000 after the mistake was found. Robert had altered the email to make it seem like Karen had disobeyed his instructions. Michael felt sick. Karen had been fired for a mistake she didn't make. Worse, she'd been the victim of deliberate sabotage. He kept investigating and uncovered more details. Robert had accessed Karen's computer several times in the days following the mistake, always outside business hours. There were also records showing he had deleted multiple files. Michael picked up the phone and called the company's IT department. "Joe, it's Michael. I need you to perform a full recovery of the computer Karen Williams used 5 years ago. I want every file restored, even the deleted ones." "Mr. Thompson, that's going to be really complicated. 5 years is a long time, but I'll try." "Do whatever it takes. It's urgent." While waiting for the results of the tech investigation, Michael decided to confront Robert directly. He called him into his office for a meeting. "Robert, I want to talk to you about an old case, Karen Williams. Do you remember her?" Robert seemed slightly uneasy. "Of course, Michael. The secretary who was fired over that mistake in the Oil Corp contract. Why are you asking about this now? I'm reviewing some old cases. Are you absolutely sure she made the error?" "Positive. I even sent her the correct instructions by email, but she didn't follow them. You saw the email back then." "Yes, I did, but now I'm looking into everything again and I've found some inconsistencies." Robert grew visibly nervous. "What kind of inconsistencies?" "The kind that suggest maybe the mistake wasn't hers." "Michael, that was 5 years ago. Why are you digging this up now?" "Because I met her daughters. 2 little girls who were going through terrible hardships because of their mother's dismissal." Robert paled. "Her daughters?" "Yes. A 7-year-old girl taking care of a baby, all by herself, because their mother's been missing for over a month." "Missing? Robert, where is Karen? How would I know where she is? I haven't spoken to her in years." Michael studied Robert's expression carefully. There was something in his eyes that didn't seem genuine. "Robert, I will find out the truth about what happened 5 years ago, and if I discover Karen was wronged, I'll do everything in my power to make it right." "Michael, you're getting emotionally involved in this. Karen made a serious mistake. She was fired, and there's no going back. We'll see." After Robert left, Michael got a call from Joe in IT. "Mr. Thompson, I managed to recover some files from Karen's computer, and I found something interesting." "What did you find?" "System access logs showing someone used her login during times she wasn't in the office, and that person made several changes to important contracts." "Can you tell who it was?" "Based on the IP address, it was done from Robert Wilson's computer." Michael felt a mix of anger and sadness. Robert, someone he'd trusted for years, had deliberately sabotaged Karen and ruined her career. "Joe, gather all this evidence and prepare a full report, and keep it absolutely confidential for now." "Yes, sir." Michael spent the rest of Sunday planning how to handle the situation. First, he needed to find Karen. If she'd really been missing for over a month, she could be in danger. On Monday morning, Michael decided to visit Lily's apartment again. He brought Mrs. Thompson a full breakfast and asked if she had any additional information about Karen. "Sir, now that you mention it, I do remember something. About a month and a half ago, I saw Karen leaving with a small suitcase. I thought she was going on a work trip like Lily always said." "Did she say anything?" "She said she was going to fix an important problem and would be back soon. But she looked worried, not happy like someone who's about to do good work." "Anything else?" "Yes. She asked me to take care of Lily if anything happened. I thought it was strange at the time." "Take care of her how?" "She said, If for some reason she didn't come back in a few weeks, I should get help for the children. But before that, I should wait because she would return. Michael felt a chill run down his spine. Karen had left home knowing she was taking some kind of risk. Mrs. Thompson, do you have any idea where she might have gone? I have no idea, but there's one thing. Sometimes I heard her talking on the phone about a man who had wronged her at work. She said one day she'd prove she was innocent. Michael's heart raced. Karen had left to try to prove her innocence, but where and with whom? Michael called Catherine at the company and asked her to check if Karen had contacted them in the last 2 months. Mr. Thompson, I found something. 6 weeks ago, Karen called wanting to speak with you. But since you were in a meeting, she left a message saying she had important information about her case from 5 years ago. And did you schedule a meeting? Well, sir, it was Robert who took the call. He said he'd pass along the message, but apparently he didn't. Michael hung up the phone, feeling his anger grow. Robert hadn't just sabotaged Karen 5 years ago, he had also intercepted her recent attempt to clear her name. He called Robert immediately. Robert, I need you in my office now. I'm in a meeting, Michael. Can it wait? Now, Robert, it's urgent. 20 minutes later, Robert walked into Michael's office, visibly nervous. Robert, Karen Williams tried to contact me 6 weeks ago. Why didn't you pass along the message? Robert hesitated. I didn't think it was important. She calls from time to time trying to get her job back. From time to time? How many times has she called? A few times over the years. And you never forwarded any of those calls to me. Michael, I thought I was sparing you unnecessary trouble. Michael opened his laptop and showed Robert the documents Joe had recovered. Robert, I want you to explain these login records for Karen's computer during times she wasn't even in the office. Robert's face went pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Robert, these records show you used Karen's login to alter contracts. Then you edited emails to make it look like she had made mistakes. Robert was silent for a long moment. Michael, I can explain. Then explain. Karen, she was being considered for a promotion I wanted. I panicked and made a terrible mistake. You deliberately sabotaged a single mother's career for a promotion. I didn't think about the consequences at the time. I only thought about myself. Michael stood up, feeling an anger he'd never known before. Robert, because of what you did, an innocent woman was fired, her career destroyed, and now she's been missing for over a month. Her 2 little girls are alone, going hungry. Missing? What do you mean missing? She left home over a month ago to try to prove her innocence and never came back. And now I find out you intercepted her attempt to reach me. Robert began to tremble. Michael, I didn't know she had young children. If I'd known... Does that change anything? You ruined an innocent person's life, Robert. What are you going to do? First, you're going to tell me everything you know about where Karen might be. Second, you're going to help me find her. And third, you're going to publicly take responsibility for what you did. Michael, if this goes public, my career is over. Your career. Robert, 2 children are suffering because of what you did. One of them, a 7-year-old, is taking care of a baby all alone. And you're worried about your career. Robert lowered his head. You're right. I'll help find Karen, and I'll take responsibility. Start by telling me about her call 6 weeks ago. She said she had proof she didn't make the mistake, that she'd found documents showing what really happened. What documents? She didn't go into details, but she said she'd present the evidence in person. And what did you say? I told her you weren't interested in reopening the case, and that if she kept pushing, you could sue her for harassment. Michael felt like screaming. You threatened her. I was desperate, Michael. I knew if she proved her innocence, my fraud would be exposed. Robert, where do you think she might have gone? No idea, but she mentioned finding someone who could help prove her innocence. Who? She didn't say the name, but she talked about a former employee who'd kept important documents. Michael thought quickly. Which former employee would have documents related to Karen's case? Robert, do you remember anyone who was fired or left the company right after Karen's case? Now that you mention it, There was Mark from the finance department. He left a few months later, said he didn't agree with some management practices. Mark Johnson? Yeah, he was always close to Karen. He even questioned her firing back then. Michael remembered Mark, a principled man who'd worked at the company for over 10 years before resigning. Do you have Mark's contact? No, but I can try to find it. Michael grabbed the phone and called Catherine. Catherine, I need Mark Johnson's contact, former finance employee. It's urgent. Within minutes, Catherine called back with Mark's number. Michael dialed immediately. Mark, it's Michael Thompson from the company. Michael, what a surprise. How can I help? Mark, I need to ask something important. Has Karen Williams contacted you recently? There was a pause on the other end. Michael, can I ask why you want to know? Mark, I found out Karen was wrongfully fired 5 years ago. Now she's missing and her 2 little girls are alone. I need to find her urgently. Wrongfully? You're sure? I have proof Robert Wilson forged documents to frame her. I knew it. Mark's voice was a mix of anger and relief. I always knew something was off about that case. Mark, did Karen contact you? Yes, about 6 weeks ago. She said she'd found proof of the fraud and wanted my help presenting it. And you helped? I gave her the documents I'd kept from back then. System logs, undeleted emails, financial reports, anything to prove her innocence. Where was she taking the evidence? She said she'd try talking to you directly at the company first. If that didn't work, she'd hire a labor rights lawyer. Do you know which lawyer? Yes, Dr. Frank Reynolds. Specializes in wrongful termination cases. She booked a consultation with him. Michael wrote down the name and thanked Mark. He immediately called Dr. Frank Reynolds' office. Dr. Frank, this is Michael Thompson. I need to know about a client of yours, Karen Williams. Mr. Thompson, I can't discuss client cases. Doctor, I'm the employer who wrongfully fired Karen 5 years ago. Now I've learned the truth and want to make it right. But she's been missing for over a month, and her 2 little girls are all alone. Missing? What do you mean? She left home over a month ago and never came back. Do you have any information about where she might be? Dr. Frank stayed silent for a few seconds. Mr. Thompson, Karen was here 5 weeks ago. She brought very convincing documents proving her innocence. We agreed she'd return the following week to file the paperwork. And did she come back? No. I waited for 2 weeks and then tried calling her, but her phone was out of service. I thought she'd given up on the case. Doctor, something happened to her. I need your help to find her. Mr. Thompson, if you truly want to right this wrong, I can help. But I need you to come here in person with all the documentation related to the case. I'll be there in an hour. Michael hung up the phone and turned to Robert, who was sitting quietly. Robert, you're coming with me to the lawyer's office, and you're going to tell them everything you did. In Dr. Frank's office, Michael and Robert laid out the whole situation. The lawyer was shocked by the scale of the fraud. Gentlemen, this is one of the most severe cases of professional sabotage I've ever seen. Robert, you could face not just workplace lawsuits, but criminal charges as well. Doctor, I accept all the consequences, said Robert. I just want to help find Karen and fix the harm I've caused. Dr. Frank, do you have any idea where Karen might be? Asked Michael. Actually, I do. During our conversation, she mentioned she'd hired a private investigator to look into the case. Said she wanted absolute certainty before filing. An investigator? Do you have his contact? I do. His name is Paul Harrison, very well respected in the field. Dr. Frank called Paul immediately. Paul, it's Frank. Do you remember Karen Williams, who hired your services a few weeks ago? Michael could only hear Dr. Frank's side of the conversation, but from his expression, he could tell there was important news. I see, yes, he's here with me now. All right, we'll be there in half an hour. Dr. Frank hung up and turned to Michael. We have good news and bad news. The good news is Paul knows where Karen is. The bad news is she's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. Hospital? Michael felt his heart stop. Apparently, she was in a car accident on her way to meet Paul to deliver additional documents. She's in serious but stable condition. Why wasn't anyone notified? What about her children? Paul said when she was admitted she was unconscious and had no ID. They only identified her a week ago through fingerprints. but they couldn't find updated emergency contacts. Michael, Robert, and Dr. Frank rushed to the hospital. On the way, Michael called Catherine, his wife. "Catherine, we found Karen. She's been in the hospital for 3 weeks. Can you pick up the kids from home and bring them to the hospital?" "Of course. How is she?" "We don't know yet. We're on our way there now." At the hospital, Paul Harrison, the investigator, was waiting with detailed updates. "Gentlemen, Karen was in a serious accident, head trauma, some fractures. She was in a coma for 2 weeks, but woke up a few days ago." "Is she conscious?" asked Michael. "She is, but she's still recovering. The doctor said she might have some temporary memory issues." "Can we see her?" "Yes, but briefly. She's still very weak." When they entered the room, Michael saw a thin, fragile-looking woman, but recognized her immediately. It was Karen, his former secretary. She was awake, staring out the window. "Karen," Michael said softly. She turned slowly, and her eyes widened in recognition. "Mr. Thompson." Her voice was weak but clear. How did you find me?" "Karen, I met your children, Lily and Tommy. They're okay, but they were worried about you." Tears began rolling down Karen's face. "My children. How long have I been here?" 3 weeks, Karen." 3 weeks? She tried to sit up but was too weak. "They've been alone for 3 weeks. Karen, calm down. They're being taken care of. Lily is a very brave girl. I need to go home. They need me. You need to recover first, but I want you to know I found out the truth about what happened 5 years ago." Karen looked at him in surprise. "The truth?" "Robert confessed he forged the documents. You never made that mistake. You were sabotaged." Robert stepped closer to the bed, clearly ashamed. "Karen, I'm so sorry. What I did was unforgivable." Karen stared at Robert for a long moment, then turned back to Michael. "Mr. Thompson, I tried to prove my innocence for 5 years. No one would listen." "I know, Karen, and I'm so sorry for that. I'll make right all the wrong that was done. You'll be reinstated with full back pay, and Robert will face the consequences of his actions." "I just want to see my children," Karen said, tears in her eyes. At that moment, the door opened and Catherine entered with Lily and Tommy. Lily froze in the doorway, as if she couldn't believe what she was seeing. "Mommy." Her voice was a whisper. "Lily, my baby." Lily rushed to the bed and hugged Karen gently, careful not to hurt her. Tommy, in Catherine's arms, reached out his little hands toward his mother. "Mommy, are you okay?" "I took good care of Tommy, just like you taught me," Lily said between tears. "I know you did, sweetheart. You're the bravest girl in the world." "Mommy, I made friends with Mr. Thompson. He's really nice. He helped me buy food and medicine for Tommy." Karen looked at Michael with gratitude. "Mr. Thompson, how can I ever thank you?" "Karen, I'm the one who should be thanking you. Your daughter taught me lessons in dignity and responsibility I'll never forget." The doctor entered the room just then. "Sorry to interrupt, but the patient needs rest. Visits should be short. She's still recovering." "Doctor, how much longer does she need to stay?" Michael asked. "A few more weeks. She had a severe head injury and fractures that are still healing." "Mommy, while you're here, where will Tommy and I stay?" Lily asked. "You'll stay with us," Catherine said, stepping forward. "We have a big, comfortable room for you." "But I can't accept charity," Lily said with her usual determination. Michael smiled. "It's not charity, Lily. It's one family helping another. Besides, you still owe me some drawings, remember?" Lily smiled for the first time since Michael had met her. "That's right. I'll make the prettiest drawings for you and your family." Over the next few weeks, as Karen recovered at the hospital, Lily and Tommy stayed at Michael's home. It was a time of discovery and learning for everyone. Lily, who had always been forced to grow up too fast, finally got to be a child again. Amanda and Jennifer, Michael's daughters, adored her and treated her like a little sister. Tommy, who had always been a quiet, observant baby, began smiling more and interacting with everyone in the house. He even said his first clear word, "Mommy," while Catherine was caring for him. "He's calling you Mommy," Lily told Catherine. "No, sweetheart. He's practicing for when he sees his real mother," Catherine replied warmly. Michael monitored Karen's recovery daily and handled all the legal aspects of the situation. He rehired Karen in a better position than she had before, with back pay for 5 years plus interest and adjustments. Robert was fired and faced both labor and criminal charges. But surprisingly, Karen asked for the punishments not to be too severe. Mr. Michael, Robert made a terrible mistake, but everyone deserves a second chance. He can learn from his errors. Karen's generosity impressed everyone. 3 weeks later, Karen was discharged from the hospital. Michael's entire family went to pick her up. When she saw Lily and Tommy running toward her, she couldn't hold back her tears. "My family is whole again," she said, hugging her children. "Mommy, I have so much to tell you," Lily said excitedly, "and I want to hear all of it, sweetheart." Michael approached Karen. "Karen, I've prepared an apartment for you, furnished, in a nice neighborhood, close to the company, and you can start work on Monday if you'd like." "Mr. Michael, you've already done so much for us. Karen, I slept peacefully for 5 years while you and your daughters suffered because of my mistake. It will never be enough." "Mr. Michael," said Lily, tugging at his suit jacket, "I made a special drawing for you." She pulled out a colorful picture from her backpack. It showed a big family: Michael, Catherine, Amanda, Jennifer, Karen, Lily, and Tommy, all holding hands. "It's our big family," Lily explained, "because now we're all friends forever." Michael looked at the drawing and felt his eyes grow moist. "It's the most beautiful drawing I've ever received, Lily." 6 months later, life had settled for everyone. Karen worked at Michael's company, now as a department manager. Lily was enrolled in an excellent school, and Tommy attended a nearby daycare. Michael had implemented new protocols at the company to ensure situations like Karen's would never happen again. He also created a support program for employees' families in need. Lily maintained her special friendship with Michael. Every Saturday she went to his house to deliver new drawings and play with Amanda and Jennifer. "Mr. Michael," she said one Saturday while handing him a new drawing, "do you remember when I promised to pay back double what I owed?" "I do, Lily." "Well, I calculated everything in my notebook. With the interest I promised, I owed you $342. She opened her backpack and pulled out an envelope. "Here's the money. My mom gave me my allowance and I saved for 6 months. Michael was moved. Even after everything that had happened, Lily kept her word. Lily, I can't take this money. But I promised, and Mommy always says a promise is a promise." Michael thought for a moment and had an idea. "How about you keep this money in a special account for when you grow up and want to go to college?" "Can I do that?" "Of course. Let's open a savings account for you." At the bank, while opening Lily's account, the manager remarked, "It's rare to see a child so young already thinking about her financial future." "She's a special girl," said Michael. "She taught me that dignity and responsibility have no age." When they left the bank, Lily was beaming. "Mr. Michael, when I grow up, I want to have a company like yours and help people the way you helped me." "I'm sure you will, Lily. And when you do, I'll be there to see it." "Promise?" "I promise. And you already know a promise is a promise, right?" Lily smiled and took Michael's hand. "A promise is a promise." A year later, on Tommy's birthday, the whole extended family gathered at Michael's house. Karen, who had fully recovered, was radiant seeing her children happy and safe. Lily, now 8 years old, had become a cheerful and carefree girl but kept her sense of responsibility and determination. Tommy, almost 2, ran around the house calling everyone Daddy and Mommy, much to everyone's amusement. "Karen," Michael said during dinner, "I'd like to make an announcement." Everyone stopped eating and looked at him. "I've decided to promote you to vice president of the company." Karen nearly choked on her food. "Mr. Thompson, I don't know what to say." "Say you accept. The company needs honest people like you in leadership positions." "I accept," Karen said, tears in her eyes. Lily clapped excitedly. "Mommy, does that mean you'll be Uncle Michael's boss?" Everyone laughed at the innocent question. "Not exactly, sweetheart, but it means Mommy will have more responsibilities at work." "And more money?" Lily asked bluntly. "Lily," Karen scolded, embarrassed. "It's okay, Karen," Michael said, smiling. "And yes, Lily, Your mum will earn a lot more money. Yay! Does that mean I can get a new doll? It means many good things for our family, Karen replied, hugging her daughter. That night, after the guests had left, Michael and Catherine were tidying up when they found a piece of paper on the floor. It was a drawing Lily had left behind. The drawing showed Michael at the supermarket, but this time he had wings like an angel. Below it was written, "For the uncle who taught us that mistakes can be fixed and that good people always help others." Catherine looked at her husband. "You changed their lives, Michael." "Actually, Catherine, they changed mine. Before meeting Lily, I was just a successful businessman. Now I understand what it truly means to be a good person." "And what does it mean?" "It means being willing to admit your mistakes, fix them, and use your position to help those in need. Lily taught me that at just 7 years old." 2 years passed, and the friendship between the families only grew stronger. Lily, now 10, was excelling in school and had developed a special talent for math and drawing. Tommy, nearly 4, was a talkative and happy child who called Michael Grandpa Mike and Catherine Grandma Kathy. Karen had become a respected executive, and under her leadership, the company had implemented several social programs to support employees and their families. One Saturday morning, Lily showed up at Michael's house with a special proposal. "Uncle Michael, I want to have an art show with my drawings." "What a wonderful idea, Lily. Where do you want to hold it?" "At the company. I want to show all the employees the drawings I've made over the years. And I want the money we raise to help other families going through hard times." Michael was impressed by the maturity of her proposal. "Lily, that's a fantastic idea. We'll organize this exhibition. And Uncle Michael, there's one more thing." "What?" "I want Robert to come to the exhibition too." Michael was surprised. Robert, after the whole legal process, had moved to another city and was working as an accountant at a small firm. He had completely turned his life around and occasionally sent letters apologizing to Karen. "Why do you want him there, Lily?" "Because Mommy always says everyone deserves forgiveness, and I think he's learned that doing wrong things isn't worth it." Lily's exhibition was a huge success. Over 200 people attended, including all the company's employees and their families. Robert also came, clearly nervous, but was greeted politely by everyone. When Lily met Robert, she simply said, "Hi, Uncle Robert, thank you for coming." "Lily, I wanted to apologize again for what I did to your family." "It's okay, Uncle Robert. What matters is that everyone is happy now." Robert was moved by the girl's generosity. The exhibition raised over $5,000, which were donated to an organization helping families in vulnerable situations. "Lily," said Michael during the closing speech of the exhibition, "you started this journey by asking me to buy milk and bread for your brother. Today, you're helping dozens of other families. You've grown so much. Uncle Michael, I learned from you that when we can help, we have to help. That's what good people do." 5 years had passed since their first meeting in the supermarket. Lily, now 15, was a bright and determined teenager. She had won several math competitions, and her drawings had evolved into true works of art. Tommy, 8 years old, was a smart and affectionate boy who loved spending his school breaks at Michael's company. Karen had become one of the most respected executives in the industry, and her story of resilience inspired many people. One special morning, Michael received a call that would change their lives once again. "Mr. Michael, this is Mercy Hospital. We have a situation here that might interest you." "What kind of situation?" "We have a 9-year-old girl who arrived here alone with a baby in her arms. She's trying to trade her shoes for medicine for the baby. Her story reminds us a lot of the case that made the news years ago about a girl who helped a businessman." Michael felt his heart race. "I'm on my way." When he arrived at the hospital, Michael saw a scene that took him back 5 years. A small girl, holding a baby, trying to negotiate with a nurse. "Please, ma'am, my little brother is sick. I can work for you in exchange for the medicine." Michael approached slowly. "Hi, what's your name?" The girl looked at him warily. "Emma Rose, and this is little Pete, my brother." "Emma Rose, where are your parents?" "My mom is working a lot. I take care of little Pete for her." Michael smiled sadly. It was the same story repeating itself. Emma Rose, how about I help you? No charge, no payment. Just because a brave child once taught me that helping is the right thing to do. At that moment, a familiar voice echoed through the hospital hallway. Uncle Michael! It was Lily, now 15, accompanied by Karen. They had come to visit a hospitalized friend and recognized Michael. Lily! Michael hugged her. What a wonderful coincidence. Lily looked at Emma Rose and immediately understood the situation. Hi, I'm Lily. What's your name? Emma Rose. Emma Rose, are you taking care of your little brother all by yourself? The girl nodded, and Lily crouched down to her level. You know, Emma Rose, I've been through this too. I also took care of my little brother when he was a baby, and my mum couldn't be there. Really? Really? And you know what I learned? That there are good people in the world who help without expecting anything in return, like Uncle Michael here. Emma Rose looked at Michael. You'll really help me even if I can't pay anything. I will, Emma Rose, because I believe everyone deserves a chance to be happy. Karen stepped closer to the group. And you know what, Emma Rose? Now we're going to help you find your mom and fix your situation, because that's what families do for each other. Are you a family? Emma Rose asked. We're a very special family, Lily said with a smile. A family that started in a supermarket when I was as little as you and needed help. And now our family is about to grow a little more, said Michael, picking up little Pete in his arms. If you want to, of course. Emma Rose looked at all those kind people around her and for the first time in a long while smiled. I want to be part of your family. And so, the cycle of kindness that had begun with a brave little girl asking for help in a supermarket continued, proving that when good people come together, they create something greater than themselves. They create hope. The end. And now, dear listeners, tell us what you thought of this touching story. Lily managed to change so many lives with her courage and determination. What lessons did you take from this journey? Do you believe small acts of kindness can truly transform lives? Share your honest thoughts in the comments. Do you know someone who's been through similar situations? Tell us your experiences. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like and, most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss other heartwarming stories like this one.